Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, but you can call me Pajama Grandma. In case you haven't met yet, go ahead and put hashtag pajama in the comments below, because then I know it's the first time you are being exposed to the Pajama Grandma. This is where What's She Up To Now is where I share my new adventure, what I'm doing as I transition from the offline world of brick and mortar businesses in corporate America to the online world of business and how things are done in the internet World Wide Web world versus how things are done in what I like to call, and people get annoyed at me, but the real world, because things are different here. Things are different in the online world than they are in the real world. The way people approach business online, the way they do everything online, some things are the same because people are people and we're all working with people, but some things are really different. Some things that people do online, you would never think about doing offline. It's kind of like the things that people will say in email are very different than the things that they would say to your face. Now, normal human beings, semi-wise human beings will behave the same way in both places, but as we can see from social media, people will definitely do and say things and behave in ways on social media that I don't think they would ever behave like to someone's face. They will say things and be cruel and opinionated and rude in ways that I don't think most human beings, if they were looking you in the eye, would actually say those things to you or behave that way toward you. But, you know, I'm sure there are some people that would still behave that way and they're being their authentic selves, and that means that we should avoid them. But the majority of people, I think that the anonymity, even though your name and your profile picture might be on your social media accounts, there seems to be this wall of protection for people where they think they can behave in ways that don't matter, or that in ways that they would never behave otherwise. I don't know. I think it's an interesting mindset. I think you're better off behaving in ways, and it's actually more true than we care to admit, as if you're always being videotaped and filmed. And if you didn't want the entire world to see that film, then should you behave that way? Would you want to behave that way? And that's a matter of being, I think, true to yourself. I mean, and it's not that I'm worried about Big Brother watching or anything. It's that I think that that's my filter for determining, should I say this? Should I behave this way? Should I do this? And I'm sure it's a different filter than a lot of people have, but it works for me. But sometimes when I'm being silly, say, for example, if I have road rage or something in my car, I'll ask myself, and I don't have really much anymore. I did when I was more stressed out in my life. I would get so frustrated that I wasn't where I was supposed to be faster, and traffic was, of course, part of the problem. You know, I mean, which is ridiculous, right? Traffic just is what it is. It was how I was reacting to the traffic that was causing me to get upset or frustrated. But I would like to ask myself in those times, if somebody were filming me and videotaping me being upset about this and showing it to the world, would that be what I want the world to see me behaving like? Number one, would that be the way I want to be feeling? Because that's what I'm creating in my life and in my world. Well, heck no, I don't want to be that way. So that's always been kind of a good litmus test for me. Not that I've ever done like majorly ridiculous, not mean, but or silly or stupid things. I mean, yeah, I lived through my 20s and got drunk and did dumb things, and we all do. But I guess even at those worst times, I suppose if somebody would have filmed me, I could still live with that, because none of that behavior was so bad that I would be embarrassed by it. But it's a matter of, I am the litmus test. I am the judge of all that. I get to decide whether I'd be embarrassed of it or not. And it's just a way for me to look at it from an outside perspective and stop and think about how I'm thinking or feeling about something, and then asking myself, it buys me some time to ask myself, is this the appropriate reaction for what's going on around me right now? And sometimes the answer is absolutely no. I remember there'd be times in my food business where something would be happening and I would feel myself getting really, really frustrated about it, because say we were doing a project for a customer and it was taking way longer than I would have expected it to. Maybe we were making them a special flavored ravioli or something. And instead of it taking, 2 hours like it should have in my estimation based on our previous experience, we were up to like the 5-6 hour mark and we still weren't even halfway done with the project yet. That would start, I'd notice that I'd start to be frustrated. I'd think, what's going on? Why aren't we done with this yet? This should have been done by now, yada, yada, yada. And that's where I started using this strategy where I would take a deep breath, I would step back, and I would actually notice how I was feeling, because me feeling frustrated has nothing to do with the circumstances that I'm in, what's going on with the project. It's my choosing to expect something to be different than it is. And that was a huge realization for me. That made such a difference in the level of stress and frustration that I would allow myself to experience, because I was like, yeah, it is just what it is. Project is taking as long as it's taking because of XYZ, and that's okay. That's part of this project's process. It's part of us figuring out how to do this thing, and that's perfectly okay. Will we do it faster, better, easier, and more efficiently next time? Absolutely, but I'm not going to get frustrated about this time. I'm going to learn from what's working and what's not, and just accept it for the way it is. It is this way, and I can learn from it, or I can be really, really frustrated and upset about it. Well, being frustrated and upset about it blocks my ability to learn from it, so it allowed me the opportunity to step back and choose that I wanted to learn instead of be frustrated. And we all have that option, but sometimes we have to come up with our own tricks for slowing ourselves down so that we can analyze what's going on in our heads and in our minds and in our bodies and in our lives. And that is just a trick that has worked for me over the years. That and the moral compass of, would I really want the world to see a videotape of me overreacting this way? I guess I could think back to some of the arguments I had with my ex-husband, and I actually would do this. I mean, you're in a situation and you have almost this out-of-body experience where you actually see yourself in the situation, and that allows you to stop and say, whoa, 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 hold the phone. This is not the direction I want this conversation to be going in. It seems like there's people like that in our lives that will trigger us, and my ex-husband is definitely one of those. He will trigger me to just be going down a tangent that I never intended to go down. And then all of a sudden I'll notice that I'm doing that, and I stop and I say, whoa, stop. We need to take this back about 4 notches to get back to where I really wanted to go with this conversation. And I think we all have people in situations like that do require us to have almost superhuman ability to pull ourselves back in, to rein ourselves in from where we're going with something. So that's what I'm thinking about today. I'm thinking about that. I'm actually working on my webinar again. I'm going to do it again today. I'm going to keep doing it every day until I like it, till I can say that was pretty good. And actually, until I can say that didn't suck. Because the first thought in my brain after I finish it every time is, that was long and that sucked. And then I go back and I listen to it and I find all the places that I stumbled or I stuttered or I didn't like the story that I shared, or I can think of a better example to convey the thought or the message that I'm sharing. And I'm going to keep doing that until I am not totally happy with it. I'd like to be delighted with it, but that's going to take a while. But I'm going to keep doing it every day until I'm okay and satisfied with it, to the point where I'm going to put it in front of my ideal customers and run with it. So that's my big project again for today. That and the usual, working with coaching students as they need me, continuing to produce the content that I'm producing for my other projects, continue to serve people as best I can, and enjoy those I love and care about. And, of course, get out in nature. I'm puppy sitting, so we'll be going to the dog park again, because that's really fun. The dogs they're so delightful. And I get such a kick out of dog behavior and watching the environment of the dog park, because there's so many parallels to our businesses and our life that it's fun for me to go in that environment, because there's so many things that we never experience, and that when we get the opportunity to experience them, it's so fun to just be an observer. I'm kind of a participant, but the dogs are so good they allow me the opportunity to be an observer because I don't have to worry about them or about them getting in trouble or, misbehaving. I already know that they're awesome because I've taken them there often enough. So I know that that's one of their favorite places to go and that they're always going to have a good experience there. And so am I. So that allows me the opportunity to step back and be an observer. And sometimes we so often get pulled into our lives and we don't step back and be that observer, but it's such a powerful position to take, to just watch and learn and absorb what's going on around us and actually experience it versus always being in judgment of a situation or a thing. Anyway, that's a tangent. Have a fantastic day. I will, of course, see you tomorrow. Today was day 190 of What's She Up To Now. So that means tomorrow will be day 191. Have a fabulous day and, I don't know, be awesome. Bye.